Do me bawa sarva sete me prayas sarva krama suza me zedan shreya kuru ha 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 ho bhagavan sarva data gata bandra ma me munza branze bawa ma samaya satva Bandra Sadhva Samaya Manu Palaya Bandra Sadhva Deno Bai Dizra Deto Memba Soto Kaya Memba Vai Zubu Kaya Memba Anurado Memba Vai Sarva Sede Me Praya Sarva Krama Suza Me Zedan Shreya Kuru ha 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 bhagavan sarvata dangata bandrama me munza branzemba ma samaya satva all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness. May they experience happiness, be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect, precious Bodhi. All mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness. May they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Bodhi. All mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness. May they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Bodhi. Thus, until I achieve Buddha, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, most excellent, I take refuge until Bodhi is reached by the merit of generosity and other perfections. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all wandering beings in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Most excellent, I take refuge until Bodhi is reached by the merit of generosity and other perfections. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all wandering beings in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Most excellent, I take refuge until Bodhi is reached by the merit of generosity and other perfections. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all wandering beings. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. May all mothers, sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. Vajra samaja, vajra samaja, vajra samaja. Protectors of all sentient beings without exception, deities who vanquish the ruthless hordes of Maras, knowers of everything as it is, Bhagavans and your retinues, please come here. Argyam Padyam Pushpe Dupe Aloke Gende Nivede Shabda Prateja Soha. This ground sprinkled with scented waters and strewn with flowers, adorned with the supreme mountain, four continents, sun and moon, I hold in mind as a Buddha land and offer it. May all wandering beings experience such a pure realm. Whatever slight virtue that may have been gathered through prostrating, offering, confessing, rejoicing, requesting, and beseeching, I now dedicate to complete Bodhi. Sitting on a comfortable cushion, directing the eyes to the tip of the nose, placing the nose in line with the navel, shoulders level, tongue joined to the palate, and the teeth and lips placed at ease. Having relaxed the exhalation and inhalation of breath, little by little, free from effort, the breath exhales and inhales just as it is. When one is well seated in this way, one is seated in the Bodhisattva posture. This a quote from the Vajra Garland Tantra. From the Mother of the Victorious Ones, the Paññāparamita Sutra, it says, "Friends, to become a human is rare, and to gain the perfect state of leisure is even rarer. Liberation from samsara is extremely rare. Since it is so, do not waste your efforts on meaningless things. For later, you will surely be filled with regret. And from the Sutra of Auspicious Signs, it says, "Who knows if death will come as soon as tomorrow? Therefore one must apply oneself this very day. For with the great commander, Lord of Death, I have no treaty of friendship." Just let body and mind settle into their own places. Taking some long and deliberate breath, inhale, exhale, can help the relaxed body and mind. If you have the habit of closing your eyes all the way when you cultivate or meditate, please slowly, bit by bit, to change into eyes open with the gaze cast down for the most part. This way, none of the sense doors are closed. Leave all the sense doors open, but don't get involved with the activities that come in and out of the sense doors. Just contentedly remain uninvolved. Try to develop this contentment of not being involved in the comings and goings of the 6 sense doors, but without closing any of those sense doors. Without closing your eyes, without plugging your ears or your nose. Simply let the sense doors be relaxed. Develop the attitude of not needing to be involved. Not cannot involve, but not needing to be involved. Try to experience or savor the experience. The peace, the ease that comes from not being interested in involving yourself with the busyness of the senses. As you relax both body and mind, be sure that the mind doesn't become dull. The mind should be present, bright and brilliant, luminous, radiant. Unmoving or empty and yet radiant, clear, clearly radiant, clearly all-pervasive, and yet unmoving and empty. Inhale, Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now please look at the general laying aside text. Alas, great Guru Vajra holder, and all you Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who reside in the 10 directions, and 3 times I, who am called Gunja Yishe Dorje, supplicate you turn your awakened attention to me. From beginningless samsaric time until this very moment, under the power of the afflictive emotions, attachment, aggression, confusion, pride, and jealousy, I have committed the 10 non-purchase actions through the gates of my body, speech, and mind. I have committed the 5 heinous crimes and the 5 secondary heinous crimes. I have transgressed the individual liberation vows, transgressed the precepts of bodhisattvas, and transgressed the samayas of the great vehicle secret mantra. I have been faithless and disrespectful towards the 3 jewels. I have been faithless and disrespectful towards my gurus and teachers. I have been faithless and disrespectful towards my father and mother. I have been faithless and disrespectful towards my companions in the pure spiritual life. I have abandoned the sublime Dharma and disparaged the noble Sangha. In short, I now lay aside all faults and transgressions whatsoever that have become obstacles to the higher realms and to liberation, and that have become the cause for samsara and the lower realms. Before you, the great Guru Vajra holder, and all you Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions and 3 times, I expose the faults, I confess them, I am contrite, I regret them, I will not conceal them, I will not hide them. Henceforth I will restrain myself and abstain from them. If I do not expose and lay them aside, they will not be transformed. Therefore, by revealing and laying them aside, may they be cleared, may I be purified. Namo to the mandala of you, victorious Idam deities. Om, I expose and confess the broken samayas of the Vajra exalted body. Ah, I expose and confess the broken samayas of the Padma exalted speech. whom I expose and confess the broken samayas of the perfect exalted mind. Hri, I expose and lay aside the broken root and branch samayas. I expose and lay aside transgressions committed knowingly. I expose and lay aside transgressions committed unknowingly, the three non-virtues of the body, the four non-virtues of speech, the three non-virtues of the mind. I confess each of the 10 non-virtues individually. With faultless disciplined conduct, possessing completely pure disciplined conduct, and through the disciplined conduct that is free of arrogance, may the paramita of disciplined conduct be perfected. To glorious Vajrasattva I pay homage. Bajra Santa Samaya Mandubalaya Basasada Denobadi Dada Memo Sudaka Memo Suboga Memo Anurata Memo Samasidi Memoja Samakama Sujame Chidam Srayam Guru Hong Hao Bhagavan Samadana Gata Basama Memo Jambasi Baba Mahasamaya Sado Bajra Santa Samaya Mandubalaya Basasada Denobadi Dada Memo Sudoka Memo Subo Gaya Memo Anurata Memo Samasidi Memoja Samakama Sujame Chidam Srayam Guru Hong Hao Bhagavan Samadana Gata Basama Memo Jambasi Baba Mahasamaya Sado Bajra Santa Samaya Mandubalaya Basasada Denobadi Dada Memo Sudoka Memo Suboga Memo Anurata Memo Samasidi Memoja Sarva Karma Sujame Janam Janam Guru Hong Bhagavan Samadana Gata Basama Memo Jambasi Baba Mahasamaya Sado Bajra Santa Samaya Mandubalaya Bajra Sata Denoba, Dita Denamemo, Sidoga Memo, Zuboga Memo, and Nurata Memo, Sabasidi Memoja, Somagama Sujame, Jeram Jeram Guru, Bhagavan Samantanagata, Bajrama Memo Jabazimo, Mahasamaya Sado, Bajra Sata Samaya Mandabala, Bazan, the Denabadita, the Memo, Sidoga Musaboga Memo, and Nurata Memo. Sarvasidi member Jasabakama Sujame, Jeram Jeram Guru, Bhagavan Samantanagata, Basama Memo Jabazimo, Mahasamaya Sado, Bajra Sata Samaya. Anubalaya Bazarada Denobaya Deda Denamemo, Sidoga Memo, Zuboga Memo, and the Rada Memo, Samasidi Memoja, Samakamasu, Ha ha ha, Bhagavan Samadhanagata Besama Mujabasibo Mahasamaya Sado, Bajra Sata Samaya Manabalaya Subogaya Memo, and the Rada Memo, Samasidi Memoja, Samakamasu, Jamanjalam Zeranguru, Ha ha ha, Bhagavan Samadhanagata Besama Mujabasibrava. Mahasamaya Sado. Having set aside and put aside all the obscurations, obstacles that stand in the way of us practicing and actualizing the practice of Fivefold Mahamudra, now to accumulate merit, we will do mandala offering. Again, mandala offering is this special method to accumulate merit. And I've talked about this notion of accumulating merit. There is the relative aspect of accumulating merit, where we take the understanding or the standpoint of we don't have enough merit, and in order to accomplish this great feat, to accomplish this great, to undertake this journey from a state of confusion to the state of Buddhahood, we need a lot of provisions. We need a lot of necessities on this journey. And all these necessities is summarized by merit. So without merit, it's very hard to achieve our goals, whether it's temporary goals or the ultimate goal of Buddhahood. And so from the relative side, from the relative point of view, the importance of accumulating merit is similar to whenever you go on a journey, and especially on a long and difficult journey, and you want to make sure you have the things that you need to ensure a safe and successful journey. So that's merit. Then, on a deeper level, this merit is a means, a method to open the mind, to open the heart. If the heart and the mind is closed, which is now, closed by our own limitations, closed by our own obsessions, closed by our own narrowness of mind, closed by our own kind of fixations. Even when we think we're practicing Dharma, I think most of the time it's not yet really the way that we should be practicing Dharma. So Thapo Rinpoche always say, may the Dharma be the Dharma. May the Dharma remain as Dharma. But most of the time, we practice Dharma for other reasons, not for the reason that the Buddha taught Dharma. We practice Dharma because we have some kind of emptiness that we feel, emptiness in the negative sense. We have some kind of emptiness that we feel in our life, maybe because our career has not worked out, our relationships have not worked out, or this has not worked out, our health is not working out. Of course, all these are signs of, the faults of samsara, the shortcomings of samsara. And of course, when we come to Dharma practice from all sorts of directions. But it cannot be that after a few years, maybe even after a few decades, 10, 20 years of practicing Dharma, we are still stuck in where we first started, So then we come to Dharma Center with expectations of finding friends, of finding relationships, finding approval, and so on and so forth. Then no amount of Dharma practice gives you any freedom. You're still concerned about this, and concerned about focus on do people like me? Do people not like me? All those concerns, all those insecurities, trust that when you work your motivation towards the big motivation of bodhicitta, all those other things that you thought you need to take care of, it's understandable. Again, please don't misunderstand me. It doesn't make you a bad person if you feel insecure, if you feel you need validation, if you feel you need help with this and that. It doesn't at all make you a bad person. This is not what we are saying. But we are saying that these are all tied to subtle and less subtle levels of grasping. And as long as there is grasping, and the result can only be dukkha, which is what the Buddha taught, which is what the foundational teachings tell us very clearly, which is why the foundational teachings are so important. Many people begin Dharma practice without any understanding of the foundational teachings. And so it's not saying that our suffering makes us bad people. All these are all the different forms of suffering that we carry with us. But the more we learn Dharma, the more we need to understand that if I trust, if I take the leap, the jump, the leap, to let my Dharma practice really be moving in the direction of Buddhahood for the sake of all beings, bodhicitta, out of love and compassion, which I'm still working on expanding and radiating without limits, out of that force, out of that power, love and compassion for all beings without exception, I will move my motivation from whatever different motivations that I may have when I started, into trusting in the supreme motivation of Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. Then all these other concerns that I thought I need to attend to, you will find that you don't need to attend to them. And eventually you'll find that if you keep working in this way, you become free from those concerns. There are skillful ways to not care about what people think of you, and there's also unskillful ways. Unskillful ways would be just, not because of your Dharma practice, but you become what we call like a jerk, Don't care about what other people think of you. There is the Milarepa kind of don't care what other people think of you. And then there is the narcissistic, don't care what other people think of you. So we're not talking about this narcissistic, don't care what other people think of you. But really for Dharma practice, we have to arrive at Milarepas, not caring what other people think of us, and not caring what other people like or don't like about us, not caring whether other people smile or don't smile at us, not caring whether other people, kind or not kind to us actually. Why? Not because we have become jaded, not because we have become given up on the world, so to say, but rather what we care most now is bodhicitta. And we have achieved stability. And Dharma has become Dharma. And then now Dharma can effectively become the path. And this path can clear confusion. And confusion can arise as wisdom. And these are the four Dharmas of Gampopa. May Dharma be the Dharma and not be something else for us. And then this Dharma becomes our method, our path. Then this path begins to clear confusion. Then when confusion is cleared, what else is there? There is only wisdom, our innate nature. Wisdom now, confusion now dawning as wisdom. So please, attend to these foundational matters, always grounding everything we do, all the practices we do on these foundational matters. Nothing goes beyond these foundational matters. Even Mahamudra was taught for the purposes of these foundational matters. Now take some grains, hold in your left palm. Now the accomplishment mandala needs to be cleaned. Sprinkle some saffron water onto the base of the mandala. And then pick up some grains in your right hand, 3 fingers like that, and then clean them. Now establishing the first heap, first saying. So then it says here, on bottom of page 9, just as the mandala is free from dust, think that the karmic, emotive, and cognitive obscurations of all sentient beings are now cleared. Then Om Bhadra Bhumi Ahong. And this Bhumi here especially is us, our current state needs to be firm. Then upon us, we establish the central heap of the Guru. So the Guru is seated, so to say, on us. And this is the inner aspect of what is going on here. It says that if the Guru is not seated firmly on us, then we cannot be transformed. And then in front is the heap of Idam, the second heap. Third is the heap of the Buddhas. Fourth is the heap of Dharma. And fifth is the heap of the Noble Sangha. So those of you who have different ngondros, other ngondros that you're working on, say you are working on Ladrup, so then this can be established along the descriptions given in the Ladrup text. Or if you are doing other ngondros, this can be established according to descriptions that you are familiar with. And in this way, the accomplishment mandala, think in this way, then these five, and then in between, not described in the text, but in between, in all the spaces in between, are the Viras, Dakinis, and Dharmapalas. Dharma protectors, Dharma guardians, standing guard. And then put this accomplishment mandala in the space in front of you. Then the second mandala, the offering mandala, again sprinkle saffron water on the surface and clean. And as you clean, you think, the karmic obscurations, emotive obscurations, and cognitive obscurations of you and all beings are being wiped clean. Om Vajra Sato Samaya Manupalaya Vajra Tino Padita Sudakame Subkaya Anurata Vasa Vajra Mame Munja Vajra Bova Mahasamaya Sado. Again, Om Bhadra Bhumi Ahum. Now, your whole you become this earth, or also you can think, your skin is the foundation, is the base of this offering. And then Mount Meru as the first heap, and Mount Meru also corresponds on a personal level to your body, your torso, with your head as the very top of Mount Meru. Then the four continents, first starting with the eastern continent, then the southern continent, the western continent, and the northern continent. These will be the four limbs of your body. Four limbs of the body, 2 hands, 2 legs, then sun and moon. The sun is in the heap, places a little bit in between the eastern continent and Mount Meru, and the moon between the Mount Meru and the western continent. And in this way, then add a little bit more as all the other jewels and the wondrous things that you put into this mandala. And so everything, especially you think that you're particularly attached to, that you enjoy, that you hold on a little bit, perhaps a little bit too tightly to, now is the time to train in releasing and placing them on the mandala. Then turn this mandala so that the front of the mandala is now facing. Turn clockwise. And now we offer. At the bottom of page 11, this ground sprinkled with scented waters and strewn with flowers, adorned with the supreme mountain, four continents, sun and moon, I hold in mind as a Buddha land and offer it. May all wandering beings experience such a pure land. To you, sublime gurus, I offer my body, possessions, and roots of virtue as an offering. Please accept them. To you, idam deities, and you, noble three jewels, I offer my body, possessions, and roots of virtue as an offering. Please accept them. O Gurus, idams, and noble three jewels, I pray that you generate supreme realization within me. Now take a few grains and add again to your offering. This ground sprinkled with scented waters and strewn with flowers, adorned with the supreme mountain, four continents, sun and moon, I hold in mind as a Buddha land and offer it. May all wandering beings experience such a pure land. To you, sublime gurus, I offer my body, possessions, and roots of virtue as an offering. Please accept them. To you, idam deities, and you, noble three jewels, I offer my body, possessions, and roots of virtue as an offering. Please accept them. O Gurus, idams, and noble three jewels, I pray that you generate supreme realizations within me. This ground sprinkled with scented waters and strewn with flowers, adorned with the supreme mountain, four continents, sun and moon, I hold in mind as a Buddha land and offer it. May all wandering beings experience such a pure land. To you, sublime gurus, I offer my body, possessions, and roots of virtue as an offering. Please accept them. To you, idam deities, and you, noble three jewels, I offer my body, possessions, and roots of virtue as an offering. Please accept them. O Gurus, idams, and noble three jewels, I pray that you generate supreme realization within me. Now first, the offering, you can dissolve that and see that as blessings, that the field of refuge, the field of accumulations, are showering on us all the merit that we need, all the resources, all the fuel that we need comes down to us. So then the offering mandala plate you can set on the side. Then now the field of refuge in the accomplishment mandala, you also sweep that And now you think they completely dissolve into you. And then when that is done, you remain evenly identifying completely with the objects of refuge. Let the mind rest there in equipoise, rest there evenly. Dissolve the field of accumulations into yourself and rest in the profound meaning of inseparability. Then for the first of the fivefold Mahamudra, the first fold of Bodhicitta Mahamudra, Kyoba Rinpoche said, if the horse or the steed of love and compassion does not run for the benefit of others, it will not be rewarded by gods and humans. Attend earnestly, therefore, to this foundational attitude. And for bodhicitta, there are three aspects to it. The relative aspect of loving kindness and compassion being the forces that we need to cultivate, we need to develop as the driving force. Love and compassion in an unbiased way to all mother sentient beings, being the driving force that drive us to giving rise to wanting to achieve the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of beings and wanting to engage in the practices that lead to that goal, and hence aspiration and action, bodhicitta, we give rise to in this way, we generate in this way. So on page 20, I will overcome the mandala of the dark forces of Maras and the opposing forces, the enemies who hate me and all of us, the obstructors who harm us, and those who create obstacles to accomplishing the wisdom of liberation and all-knowingness. For the sake of all mother sentient beings as vast as space, I will liberate those who have not, those not liberated from the ocean of samsara. I will free those not free from the bondage of afflictive emotions. I will give relief to those who have not found relief from the vehicles of the Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, and I will lead to the complete nirvana of the Mahayana those who have not passed beyond sorrow. Then page 23, action bodhicitta. Until I reach the heart of awakening, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. For as long as I live, and from now until this time tomorrow, I will take into my own experience this Mahayana profound path of the union of the creation and completion stages. So then, the specific practice, right, for actualizing Buddhahood is this unique practice of Fivefold Mahamudra. So we give rise to bodhicitta to practice the Fivefold Mahamudra. And at this point, we're beginning the next fold, which is the creation stage of idam practice. In the Fivefold Mahamudra, the creation stage has two main parts. First is yourself as idam, and in this text, the idam is Heruka Chakasamvara, and after that, the Guru, the Nirmanakaya Guru, Sambhogakaya Guru, Dharmakaya Guru, and the Swabhavikakaya Guru. The gurus, the Guru in the aspects of the four kayas, then we cultivate that. So that is all part of creation stage. Then the fourth part of the five-part Mahamudra, the fourth fold of the fivefold Mahamudra, is the natural state Mahamudra. And that is the completion stage. So now let's look at our text. So here, the main practice. Second, the main practice has two parts. This is page 24. Second, the main practice has two parts: creation stage and completion stage. And these are the two parts. Then creation stage has two parts, as I've said. So here in the text it says cultivating the idam deity and cultivating the Guru. As our precious Lord said, if with one's body, the king of deities' exalted forms, the stronghold of the unchanging ground is not seized, the retinue of Dakinis will not assemble. Attend earnestly, therefore, to this body as idam. So, we begin with this body. Rang Lu. Lu is this body, your own body. So, with regards to this body is the king of deities' exalted form. And the supreme of all the deities' exalted forms. So then you say, what? This flesh and blood body here? Actually, yes. But now we don't experience it in this way. We experience it in the ways that are completely tied up with the ripening of all kinds of karma that we have created in samsara. So moment to moment, this manifests as the ordinary body. manifests as the five aggregates, the play of the five aggregates, from moment to moment. Because from moment to moment, the mind is samsaric mind. So then the form that arises is samsaric form. But between the samsaric mind, samsaric form on the one hand, which is what we are habitually experiencing now, and Buddha mind and Buddha form, Gyalpa Rinpoche especially makes the point that Buddha mind and Buddha form, they are not contrived. They are not adventitious. They are not temporary. They are actually our basic state, our innate state. Also manifesting momentarily. Insofar as how they manifest, how Buddha mind, Buddha form appears, it also appears momentarily. It's momentary. Like samsaric mind and body. However, the basis of the arising of Buddha mind and Buddha body, that is the innate state. So that is primordially so, innately so. So therefore, this special technique of creation stage, of creating yourself, so to say, in fact, you're not actually creating yourself, but as a technique, the creating of yourself as the idam is based on what is innately true, innately the case. And therefore, the practices of creation stage is not contrived. It's not arbitrarily created, but rather created or designed by the Buddhas in accordance with the truth of things, in accordance with the principle of things. So with this body, this song is saying, with this body, this superior, this king of all the deities' exalted forms, you have to seize the stronghold of the unchanging ground. Use this body, now no longer this samsaric body, but of course we are working with this samsaric body, with this samsaric mind. Because what other body and mind do you have available to work with right now? It's this. But here, okay, don't listen to this with too much, logical thinking. But intuit what I'm saying. So yes, it's this body, it's this mind right now. But as they say, in the Soto, as they say in the Soto Zen tradition, it's said that Dogen, this great Japanese Zen master, when he traveled to China, at that time he is already very well educated in Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist metaphysics, Buddhist this, Buddhist that, Then he went around looking for teachers in China to help him basically find the right way to achieve Buddhahood. It's said that his breakthrough happened when he was in a meditation retreat. And in that tradition, they do group practice. Actually, in the Tibetan tradition, for the purposes of learning, it may be group practice like we're doing now. But the real work is often done alone, in your own space, done alone. And so, it's said that, anyway, in this tradition, they're all seated together in the meditation hall. And at one point, Dogen hears his Chinese teacher says, drop both body and mind, as a pith instruction. Drop both body and mind. And just sit. Drop both body and mind and just sit. So their practice is called just sitting, shikantaza. Only sit. So the first part of and it's said that these were the words that kind of the most profound, you could say, pith instructions that he heard that led to his finding the way after all these years. And so he dropped both body and mind and just sit. So in the same way here, you do begin with this current body and mind, with all the issues of body and mind that you have, that I have. Body sometimes healthy, sometimes not, sometimes cooperating, sometimes not, sometimes feeling good, sometimes feeling not, so on and so forth. Mind sometimes good, sometimes not, sometimes inspired, sometimes depressed, all of that. Drop both body and mind. The just sit is now, it may sound very simple, just sit. Of course, that's their method in the Soto Zen. Not so much to kind of, not so much provided beyond this instruction to just sit. And here we cultivate idam. And cultivate idam, idam is both, has both mind aspects, body aspects, and of course, linking body and mind is speech. So it's exalted body, speech, and mind. Drop ordinary mind, ordinary in the sense of mundane, the samsaric, arising from samsaric minds, body and mind, drop. Then, body has become the king of deity's exalted forms. Then this king have to seize the stronghold of the unchanging ground, which is the mind. So with the deity body, with the deity appearance, with the deity form, the deity mind needs to. So this is the imagery here, right? This famous Fivefold Mahamudra song, each of them have an image, an example, right? The Bodhicitta one is horse racing, which Tibetans love horse racing. It's kind of like in the South in the US, car racing. So this is horse racing. They love horse racing. And so Kyopa Rinpoche used the example of horse racing, of competition. What should we compete for? We should compete for Buddhahood. Now here is the example given is a king that takes his place. So almost like creating his own new empire, new dynasty. So the sense of like you have to seize the throne. So this is not so much inherited, kingship. Or even inherited kingship, you cannot become effective king if you don't become king-like, right? Father may say, you are now king. Or father is dead, and now they say you are king. But unless you seize the stronghold, unless you turn up on the throne as king. You cannot be king. And if you don't do that, so with this body, now the king of deities exalted forms, if you don't do that, then you are not able to seize. You are not able to seize the unchanging ground, which is the Buddha mind. And if you don't do that, then the retinue of Dakinis will not assemble. And so the example here is the Dakinis, meaning like for a king, right? His ministers, his and then his queens and concubines and the whole retinue will not gather. Meaning here, the Buddha qualities will not manifest. The retinue of Dakinis will not assemble, the Buddha qualities will not manifest. If Buddha qualities don't manifest, then beings cannot be benefited. Beings cannot be helped. Attend earnestly, therefore, to this body as idam. So here in this song, it's also telling us, first is attend to this body, work on, cultivate, to not have our sense of self be built on the samsaric body and mind. Instead, our sense of self will be on the basis of the divine form, the divine appearance of a deity. In this case, Heruka Chakasamvara. Then, with that form, with that identity, you still have to seize the stronghold of the unchanging ground and see the Buddha mind. Then when those two are together, then Buddha qualities, the retinue of Dakinis, will now assemble, will now come together. And so this is the brief kind of meaning of why we cultivate idam. So we have a few minutes, very rare, but we do have a few minutes. So let's see, your questions or comments. I think you're able to unmute yourself. So please do that if you have a question.
So I have a question for clarifying that part. So that means we're supposed to see this flesh and blood body and this mind as actually being the mind and body of Chakrasambhara?
Yes.
Okay.
As in you start with this, but then, in the way that is expressed in the Soto story, drop body and mind. In their method is dropping body and mind. In our method here is seeing how, for example, the basic Buddhist analysis, explanation for what is this? Well, this is the aggregation. This is the coming together of what's known as the five aggregates. But what is the aggregate of form? The aggregate of form is Buddha Vairochana. What is the aggregate of sensation? And what is the aggregate of perception? What is the aggregate of mental formation? What is the aggregate of consciousness? These are the other four Buddhas. Now, what are the elements of solidity, fluidity, heat, and motility, movement? They are the four female Buddhas. And space, that which makes all of this possible, is the fifth female Buddha. The six senses, the six sense consciousnesses, are the six bodhisattvas, male bodhisattvas. The six sense objects are the six female bodhisattvas. So this is the method of idam. Not just drop body and mind, but it comes from there. So next, when we start Om Swabhava Shuddha Sarva Dhamma Swabhava Shuddho Hang, that's the dropping of body and mind. As in dropping the samsaric induced, samsaric manifested body and mind, and then creating, letting arise Jakasamara. Any other question?
I have a question.
Yes.
So last week, Wednesday night practice with the 7-line prayer to Guru Rinpoche.
Yes.
And in there, I remember that the interpretation you once gave is that the dakinis relate to the dakinis. We relate to thoughts and other senses.
Yes.
Like dakinis. And I wonder if it has to do something with this a symbol of the dakinis.
No, not here. Here, these are the Buddha qualities, because you have to go along with the imagery, the example given here. Don't mix different.
Thank you.
And that one is how to relate to thoughts and emotions. No, here we're talking about something else. Because the example given here is the retinue of the king will not gather. And then, of course, on a deeper level, what are Buddha qualities right now? Buddha qualities right now are, yes, they are manifesting in a samsaric way as, this unending, incessant unfolding of thoughts and emotions and feelings, right? Correct, yes, of course. But in this imagery here, when they gather, they don't gather as ordinary thoughts. They gather as Buddha qualities that will manifest for the work of the king to be effective, to be successful.
Hi.
Yes.
Yeah. You could say that will be like a compassion state of being. So
What
with
is
a compassionate state of being.
what is a compassionate state of being?
It's like you have I think that feelings are something like in samsara, but compassion is a main thing in Buddhist, and if you develop that compassion as a way of being all the time,
Yes, of course.
you can see through all this with more clarity.
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
Thank you very much.
Yes, go ahead. Next question or comment. We cannot hear you, but you should speak. I think you have muted. You have unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay, thank you. In order to connect with His Holiness, you said he was in the long retreat and in a state something similar as Tukdam, but alive. During the formal practice, what should I do? Like visualize his face or
Don't
say
need too much
his name?
Don't need too much technique. Just keep the guru in the heart.
Okay. During the formal practice and all day?
Yes, you know.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Yes, no need too much techniques, you know. Heartfelt.
Thank you.
And when do you do your practice? You know, you think, right now, you know, His Holiness is doing practice for the benefit of beings. Then I am part of his mandala. I am part of his retinue. And as long as my mind also turned towards the Dharma, as he is, you know, immersed in Dharma, then there's no separation.
Thanks.
Yes, this is particularly if we are connected to His Holiness. In various ways, you can deepen your connection and really benefit from when the Guru is in retreat. Tukdam is not just, you know, these days people think, you know, Tukdam, the word only turns up, at least in the West, you know, referring to like the post death and the practitioner remain in a state of meditation. Tukdam is tuk is heart, but the awakened heart, the awakened intention, tuk, and then damsik is commitment. So that means this person is now immersed in their heart commitment. So it's in a state of tukdam, to be immersed in the most heartfelt commitment, which is, in other words, bodhicitta. Both relative and ultimate bodhicitta. Relative bodhicitta is love and compassion. Ultimate bodhicitta is wisdom. Bodhicitta fully actualized is Buddhahood. So as we cultivate the two bodhicittas, then we remember, you know, the Guru is in a state of complete immersion in bodhicitta right now. Okay, so now let's do dedication. By the virtues collected in the 3 times by me and the entirety of samsara and nirvana, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain the unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Bodhi. And this is page 31 in our dedication text. By the blessings of the truth of the Kagyu Gurus, the excellent 3 Idams, Dakinis, and Dharmapalas, may the spiritual and temporal places of the tradition of the second Nagarjuna flourish. Whatever harmful discord and faults may arise, may they be pacified, and may there be abundant prosperity and happiness. May the teachings of the great Drikung Paranashri, the all-knowing Dharma Lord, Master of interdependence, continue to increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara by the power of the virtues collected in accordance with the teachings of the pure realizations of the unmistaken teacher. May the teachings of Ranashri of Drikung, the protector of the 10 bhumis, flourish perpetually. Changchu Semcho Rinpoche Ma Ge Ba Nam Ge Gyurji Ge Ba Nyam Ba Me Ba Yam Gong Ne Gong Tu Bel Wan Shu. Okay, thank you. And then we will continue tomorrow. Tomorrow we will start the idam part. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Gracias,
Thank you.
Dr. Lee.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Muchas
Richard.
gracias.
Thanks.
Gracias.